Hey violin people, how are we doing? Second to last week of school this week. So we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna do our arco play along of the D major scale. So let's go ahead and set right up for that. 1, 2, here we go. Now, at this point in time, I am recording this on June 7th, and if you're watching it on the day that you usually have violin, it's going to be like the 9th or the 11th. So that means that school is pretty much almost over, and we would have done our performance by now. What that also means is that the remaining classes, which is pretty much this one and the video I'll put out to you next week, would have been kind of optional. Basically, you've done your concert and continue coming in the morning if you want to learn a little bit more. So with that in mind, the song we're going to do is going to be a little bit more, let's call it experimental, than what we would usually do. We're going to find it on page 24 of your book, and it's called Violin Cabbage Down. My third graders might find that the title of that song is familiar. And the melody will share a little bit in common with the way we've sung it in class, but it's gonna stray a little bit, be a little bit different as well. Now, first thing you wanna notice about this is that it looks like there are 4 lines of music, but there are actually 2. If you look all the way at the beginning of example 89 on page 24, there is this thick black line next to the letters A and B. That's called a bracket, and what it does is it tells us that the music is, the top line and the line right underneath it, the second one down, are connected. They don't have to be played by the same person, but the musical lines are happening at the same time, okay? Now, essentially what that means is we would be playing this in harmony. A little bit harder to do when we can't be present with other people, but what I'll be doing is I'll be doing play-alongs for both the A section and the B section. You can learn those with me, then you can rewind a little bit and try playing the other part while I play the first part, okay? Now, what's gonna happen, for example, the very first part is F sharp in the A section, and then the note A in the B section. So if we play the A section, it's gonna sound like this. And the B section is going to sound like this. Kind of a slight difference, okay? When we play them together, the violins are going to sound like this. Okay? And then if we move on to the second measure, we've got G. So it'll go like this, the first 2 measures. You might notice that the B section does not change. It's A, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, eighth notes, from the very beginning all the way to the end. We'll come back in a minute and talk about that, but let's do the A section first, okay? So you just heard me play the entire top line on piano of the A section. We're going to do this rhythm on F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and then in the very next measure, we're going to do the exact same rhythm, but we're going to do it on G. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, third measure, F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, last measure on this line, it's all first line E's. So that's our first finger on the first piece of tape. 1, 2, ready, go. Now I'm going to give you a play along of the whole first line. This is not what I said earlier where you can play the B section while I play the A section. I'll let you know when that part's coming up. This is going to be just the top line of A section. Try it with me. Starting on F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. G, F sharp, E. Okay, now if we go on to that second line, there's a lot of repeating. A measure of F sharp, a measure of G. It's the third measure that we want to watch out for. But first, let's do the first two measures of the bottom part of example 89. There's a printed measure number, 5 in a box right above where we're starting. Okay, so a measure of F sharp, a measure of G. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and then the very last bit, last two measures, it's not any more difficult really than what we've already done. It's just switching a little bit faster. There's going to be 2 beats of F sharp, 2 beats of E, and then the last measure is happening all on that open D, which we have not used yet. Okay, so it's going to sound something like this. F sharp, E, D, remember. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. E, D. Okay, and the last measure is also the only place where we get a change in rhythm. Bum, 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 quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, and then a rest. So we don't want to drag out that D. Instead, we want to just kind of cut it short. Bum, 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 and done. Okay? So what I'm going to give you now is the play along for the entire A section. Now, what you can do right now is just play the A section with me. What you can do a little bit later, and we're at about 7 minutes and 20 seconds in the video, is rewind to this spot and you can play the B section while I play the A section so you can hear how the harmony works. Okay? All the way at the beginning, we are starting on F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. Second line. Okay, that's the entire A section. Again, once you've mastered that, you're going to be able to play it along with me, and you'll be able to use it for the play along I'll give you in a few minutes. Okay? Now, the B section is not going to take much of your time, because it's all A. It literally just goes like this. Open A string. You can rest your hand on the shoulder of the instrument. Now, that might seem like the absolute easiest thing in the world. And obviously it's not too difficult because you don't need to get the left hand involved, but you do need to pay attention because this song is 8 measures long if we don't count the repeat. And you need to make sure that you're playing exactly 8 measures, or actually 7 measures, and then just like the rhythm changed in the A section at the very end, it's going to change here too. Same thing, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, rest. Okay? So you have to be paying real close attention to make sure that you're not going to keep playing when 8 measures is up. So here's what I'll do to kind of help you out. On this play along, I'm going to tell you when we get to measure 5, and I'm going to let you know, I'm going to give you a heads up when we get to the last measure. That'll help you playing along when you're doing the B section with me. When you go back to this one and you try to play the A section while I play the B section, then you probably won't have to spend as much time counting because you'll have a part that's a little easier to follow because it actually changes. Okay? So here's your final play along. I will be doing the B section. And like I said, you play the same thing as me. And then when you feel like you have both sections, try to come back and play the opposite one that I'm playing. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. measure, 5. Last measure. And that's it. That's the idea. So, like I said, for the most part, the B section is just ba, 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 over and over and over again, but you do have to count it. That's such a huge, huge part of music, not just violin, but any music we've ever done in the classroom, is making sure you're counting and keeping track of what measure you're on, what beat you're on, so that the other people you eventually play with don't outrun you, or, you know, don't keep playing after you've finished. So one more video I'm going to post next week for you guys, and I will make the same offer I always do. If you have questions about playing or keeping the violin over the summer, or taking up year 2 violin, please, please, please reach out to me through email or however, whenever you like, and I will get back to you with those answers. Take it easy in the meantime, guys. Bye-bye.